Hey guys, so welcome to this week's property news. I'm here in Thailand's Toi Soi Iad street, which is basically a fitness street. It's a whole street full of gyms and things like that. Just here for a couple of days, catching up with one of my mates. And basically I thought I'd shoot the property news from here today. So our lead story today is all about house prices are actually, well, they've only grown 3% over the last year. Now, that's to June, okay? Now, I said 3.3% last week, which was actually the Halifax data or nationwide data. I can't remember which one it was. Well, this is the Office of National Statistics. So this is the government figures. Now, again, these figures, we can quote all different figures depending on who we, which index we use and that sort of thing. And I think the thing to realise with this is that you've got to get to the point where you start to understand this data for what it is. Because a lot of the data that comes out isn't really, appropriate to you. I mean, if you're living in the West Midlands, prices have gone up 5.8%. If you're living in London, they've gone down about 3%. So the reality is, and that's the annual rate, not just in June, by the way. So you've got to look at these figures and understand, when you're reading them in a newspaper, they are there for column inches. They're not necessarily there for you to help you really understand what's going on in the market. And as I always say, get local. If you're going to look at your data, or if you're going to look at this data, look local. Now, the interesting thing here is, and what I'm really interested in, is the trend, okay? Because if you look, we're now, 2009, 2008, 2009, we had the falls, the last recession. We're 10 years on from that now, and things are starting to get a bit shaky. And of course they are, because it's a 7 to 10 year cycle, and there's lots of politics that's been played out that may have driven that to be a bit longer. But certainly for London, London actually in some areas is starting to bottom out, which is actually a good indicator of what's to come. So yeah, we might not see house price growth for another year or two, but with London, London will always astound. And don't be surprised if London bounces back, once we start hearing this data and a few more indices come out and that sort of thing, because that's actually what London really is about. Now, if you're looking at Birmingham, Birmingham's buoyed up by Chinese investors. Okay, so there's lots of money coming in from Asia, and also the Middle East. So we've got a lot of money coming in from Dubai and Emirates and all this sort of thing. And you're hearing this all the time about developments being bought and development sites and new development companies backed by certain people. And I think this key here really is, the investment money is going into these places, and that will result in those places being upgraded. And when they're upgraded, house prices will grow. But if you're not hearing about investment being pumped into small little towns in the middle of nowhere, well, I wouldn't be buying there, and I'd be very careful about buying there unless you have a specific strategy that can overcome that. Okay, so I think it's key. Things are looking good. I don't think things are bad at all. It's just the cycle. It's just the trend. And I think when you understand the trend and when you play that game, then you'll make money. So but you won't always make money if you're playing the whole game, because the reality is you're going to buy and hold for a long time. And when you have to do that, well, you've got to do that. So some good news for Birmingham here, and actually really right now it's all good news for Birmingham. There's lots of investment going, major bits of investment. There's lots of interest in properties there. I mean, we're getting the lowest discounts of any area in the UK right now from Birmingham. Why? Because basically it's hot. There's lots of people moving there. What the demand from, say, Chinese investors, which is, this is a great article here, whereas that was London, it's now on Birmingham, okay? It may have been Manchester a couple of years ago, but actually now it's looking quite, focused on Birmingham. Manchester's still doing pretty well. There's still lots of money going there, but I think, we hear a lot about Birmingham being the second largest city behind London. Look, yes, they both really, Manchester, Birmingham, they're so close, and there's so much going on. They're both fantastic places, and I think either or, they're almost interchangeable. So yeah. The one point I will make with this is that I think we can read the news and says, oh look, Birmingham, and you go, oh, I'm going to invest in Birmingham. But remember, you've got to do it for the long term, because if you're doing it for the short term, I don't really believe that by the time you get in, you're going to see necessarily that capital growth. I mean, it was 5.8% year on year compared to London going down 0.5%. So that sort of thing. And the reality is look, you've got to, if you're building for the long term, and most people buy and hold, in other words, they're buying and they're holding it. So you're not necessarily going to hold it in the massive growth market. So, you've got to play this strategy game where your strategy meets the market and you adapt your strategy to meet it. And that is in the purchasing, that is in the exit strategy, and that's in the holding. And when you do that, you win. So New Zealand house prices, what they've done now is they've brought in basically a ban for pretty much everyone to buy who is a non-resident. So there are some exceptions which are mainly large or apartments in large developments, but effectively it's going to be a full-on thing. And the interesting thing is they're putting these measures in place, but what they don't realise is that, for instance in June, only 3% of people that bought were foreigners. So, will it work? Look, politically it's a good thing in terms of they will, the locals will appreciate it. Will it actually result in, stabilising house prices, stopping them from growing? Not really. We'll see. It depends what they add it with. It depends what else happens in the market. But I don't really see it doing a huge amount, apart from the politics of it. And I think a lot of these things these days is more politics than actually, policies that are really going to help. So I just want to build on that story around, political decisions that are affecting the housing market across the world. And this is not just a local thing. This is all across the world. And the interesting thing is what we're seeing more and more is that politicians are making decisions that appear to be more politically motivated than actually based in fundamentals that are actually going to change things and really make things different and better. And so that's a real concern, and yes, it's winning political votes, and yes, it's getting column inches. And I think the problem is with the media these days is it's become far too focused on elections and being voted in and this, than actual policies that are really going to make a change. So, sorry guys, busy street, but yeah. But no, and that really concerns me, and it concerns me greatly in that, we just need to get back to basic fundamentals and things that are really going to be sustainable in the long term. And I think that's the problem is, too many politicians across the world are focused on the next election, how they get voted in and what they can do to be popular. And I really don't see that, some of these things they're doing just aren't going to work. And they're going to have the negative effect. They're going to actually cost more money. So, like a tenant fee ban, okay, fine. We're just going to push rents up. So rents are going to go up more than wages. And, that's going to create another problem. They're not really thinking things through. So, yeah. Okay, so let's end on the wonderful Brexit. And, this article today really is about, Brits are very positive about, well, actually, I won't say that. They're not very positive. But they still remain relatively positive, okay? That it's not going to affect house prices that much. And the interesting thing is, most people I speak to, when you actually have a proper conversation rather than like a headline conversation you see in the newspaper, people are like, what, it's mainly hype, and we think, now that doesn't mean that things can't go wrong, okay? That doesn't mean that, it isn't going to turn to absolute crap. But I think the interesting thing for me is that, it's not as bad as the papers are making it out. They're selling their papers, they're getting column inches, and I think that's the key. When you look at that, that really is what it's about. So I'm still mildly optimistic, certainly not pessimistic about Brexit. I'm almost on the fence about whether we should or shouldn't, or should have or shouldn't have, so we'll see. But I think the interesting thing is there is a lot of positivity out there still in the market. Don't believe all these negative headlines. And the fact is we're in that cycle where house prices are trending down in some areas. They're still going up others. Those places will slow down, and what you'll find is London will lead out, as it always does. So, all right, guys, that's it for this week from Thailand. I'm going to head off to the gym now. All right, have a great day. Live with passion. And don't forget to subscribe and comment. I respond to all my comments now. So basically get in there and ask any questions you've got, and I'm happy to record a video in response too if you need it. All right, great. Have a good day. See ya. Bye.